And so this meeting is now being live streamed. I would let Prem add people as they come, and I'll pass on the stage to you. Instead of introducing you, I'll love for you to introduce yourself and tell people who you are. And why is everybody suddenly talking about MS Fabric and why is it important? Over to you, Sanjay.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Sanjay. So, I think many of you would know me. For those who do not know me, I am someone with total 8 years of experience. Currently, I'm working as a lead data engineer. So, I mainly work on mainly I work on Databricks, Fabric. You can say on Power Platform side, yeah, Power BI as well. So it's a hybrid role, BI plus data engineering, but now it's mostly data engineering. And when it comes to the current market, I know there is a lot of buzz around two words. One is Databricks, second is Fabric. So in this session, we'll be focusing mostly on Fabric and also like and I would also like to draw a comparison between Fabric and other tools which are available in the market. So before I start, so I just want to get a response from the audience. So if you already know, like, or if you already know some basic stuff about Fabric, type one in the chat box. If you do not know anything about Fabric, type zero in the chat box.
Fantastic, Sanjay. And you forgot to mention that you are a published author, and we just had our library book club meeting today, earlier to
Yeah.
this session, and many people requested that, hey, why don't we have a meet the author kind of a thing from Sanjay, where he can talk about the Azure Data Engineering book and the
Yes.
case studies book. So you've written a lot of stuff, and we intend to have that kind of a session sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, yes. For sure. Okay, I see lot of zeros there. Okay, so yeah, I think we have a mixed audience, but mostly like most of the responses are skewed towards zero. Okay, fine. So first, let me ask you one question, and it's an open question. Either you can use your chat box or you can even speak out. So, can someone tell me why do we need Power BI over Excel? The first question. Yes, it's not a mistake. I'm asking why do we need Power BI over Excel? We'll come to Fabric part later.
Because in my opinion, Excel has the limits of it contains only the 1 million rows. Okay, so that is the one aspect in term when it comes to dealing with the large amount data. Okay, whereas Power BI can handle more amount the data. There are okay, this is the one aspect, and the second aspect is that the data modeling, okay, which is the backbone, which is the backbone of any analytics process. So that is the second differentiating factor when it comes to Excel as compared to Power BI. Uh,
But in Excel you have Power Query. I mean Power Query engine is same whether it's Power BI or Excel, and even Power Pivot is there for data modeling. So in Excel also you can hand load more than 1 million, and you can even do the data modeling as well. Then and DAX also you can use in Excel with Power Pivot.
correct.
So then what's the point of Power BI? In
That
Excel also you can build charts.
due to the limitations of the data handling, okay, the low amount of data that is the
No, it can handle. It's the same Vertipack engine which is there. Whatever Power BI can handle, the same amount Excel also can handle because the engine behind them is both same. Like here also Power Query, there also Power Query. Here you do the data modeling, there you have the Power Pivot
We
where
can
you do the yeah.
connect various data sources to Power BI.
I mean even Excel also has many connectors available. Okay, that I agree because Power BI supports much more connectors than Excel. Okay, good. Okay, more visualization. Okay.
And for security purpose, so In Excel, we can't define row level data. I mean, row level access or sharing the security. But in Power BI, we have that option to control the security, like whom we are giving the access, and we can define the roles.
Yes, yes. So, yes, security is one major aspect, definitely for sure, because in Excel, if you want to implement something similar, so you have to send separate Excel file to separate people. And with Power BI, just if you send a single link based on the role which is assigned to that person, they'll only see that data. So, yes, security. Yes. And what else? Yes, and yes, auto refresh as well, because once you publish, you can set it for auto refresh. You don't have to again and again keep sending any files over the email. So once you uh, push a dashboard into production, and once the data source is connected to BI, you can set it for a scheduled refresh. So based on the schedule, it will refresh itself, and then the latest data will automatically flow in. Okay, that is also good. And what else? Already visualization is covered. That is fine. Yeah, already. Yeah, it's a better visualization tool for sure. Yes. Okay, fine. So it's an open-ended question. So you have given like some X number of reasons why Power BI is better than Excel. Now let me shift my gears towards Fabric. Now, why do you think Fabric is better than Power BI? I mean, Power BI is part of Fabric, I understand, but why Fabric is needed when Power BI can already handle a lot of data, when Power BI can already it has a lot of features like row level security and all, then why do we need Fabric?
Because it has a beautiful name.
Okay.
So I'm new to Fabric One. Sanjay, thank you very much for hosting this meeting. Yogesh here. So I'm just adding
No,
on like
yes. Yeah.
whatever the learning I have taken from your post, you post on LinkedIn. So Fabric
Yeah.
provides you kind of one platform under, like you get all the utilities like database management, visualization, which we separately use like Power BI. All those things are available under one roof in Fabric. You don't need to use different tools. Kind of, for example, you cannot edit the data in Power BI. You can use the DAX functions to compute the calculated columns and all, but on the real time basis, if you want to make the changes, then you switch back to Power Query. Even there the data is fetched from Excel or the data source, any others data source from where it is connected. So I think Fabric, what I know is it provides all those tools at one place. You don't need to use like MS Access or something. If I am not wrong, I'm not pretty sure on those parts.
I'm glad to see somebody is
Yes.
following LinkedIn and somebody is actually reading and not only reading but is being able to share it with other people. So thank you, Yogesh, for being so proactive.
Thank you very much, Arun. However, thanks to you people, like you post. However, I was a little skeptical and afraid to should I join this class or not, because I was assuming people of expert. I don't know if I will be able to fit, but yeah, thanks to Chandra for starting the session with the question, why are we using Power BI over Excel? I think that gave me a confidence to contribute. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to add anything, any more points on this?
I think Yogesh summarized it so well
Correct.
that we are feeling shy to participate now, doing better job than him.
Sorry, your voice broke. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Did you ask me something?
No, no. I was just asking if anyone else want to add any more points to what you said.
Okay.
Yes. Anyone? Any more points you want to add? Okay, fine. So I think Yogesh has summarized it very well. So Fabric is a unified platform, right? Now, I think today only I wrote one post. I don't know how many of you have got the chance to read it. So basically, what happens is let's try to understand the workflow, right? Like how the data flows in an organization and how BI works. First of all, let's start with BI because that's the topic which everyone is familiar with. And from there, we'll try to connect back to Fabric. So first, if you think about it, first the data is in ERP, right? Probably in an SAP or Oracle, or maybe it's in data lake. So first the data resides somewhere in this one of these three sources majorly. Then we'll bring this entire data into a warehouse, right? Probably a specialized warehouse for BI, like it is for you can say OLAP cubes, basically we call it, right? So for BI, we'll move it to a warehouse. Then again, we'll try to do a ETL, and then for that we again pay. Again, we
Sanjay,
load it into Power BI. Again, for that we pay again. Yeah.
Sanjay, pardon for interrupting. Are you sharing your screen or something?
No, no, I'm not sharing my screen. I will share.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah. So every time there is a piece of data which is there, the same data is getting stored, processed multiple times, and the cloud cost is getting paid number of times. A very good example which I want to give, or a parallel which I want to draw here, is our taxation in India. Like before GST, there used to be central excise, sales tax, octroi, then entry tax, like state, and then you used to have check posts. Someone who worked in finance and accounting, especially on the taxation before GST came, they would definitely know the pain of it. So I briefly worked for 1.5 years on this taxation related things, where I used to go to run around the government offices to, there will be some issues with the reconciliation. Then there will be issue with respect to the claims made by the government and then by the companies. Then suddenly a court ruling will come saying that no, 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 this is applicable here. There used to be a lot of chaos. And second thing, what used to happen in the previous tax structure was there is a tax on tax on tax. So first there is a central excise which is there. Then on the top of central excise, you used to have VAT, and then you have endless amount of taxes which used to happen, and that used to have a cascading effect. Then GST came into picture, and then things got simplified, little bit simplified, and now recently, a lot of reforms came. I mean, couple of things got changed in the GST as well, like the rates got revised, and also tax slabs got simplified. Now the same example you can extend it to data. So now what is happening is, to integrate the data, we are kind of paying like a data integration tax, because we are moving data from one place to another place, from ERP to warehouse, from warehouse to again to ETL, again from ETL to BI again. So it is traveling to different places, and then finally we are getting the output. Now with Fabric, what happens is it's a unified platform. That means, now let me give you a real-time example for this. Imagine you want to build. Okay, now let's keep this interactive so that it will be. I mean, we'll get different viewpoints as well. Okay, let me give you one I mean, let me talk about a scenario, and you try to pitch in and suggest me an idea. Imagine I have a requirement where every day I receive some Excel files for sales, right? Sales data, like daily sales, given by some analysts. Now I want to get a report, right? Daily report, and it should be automatic. Like every time I open Power BI in the morning, I should be able to see the data until yesterday. Now, what do you think is a good solution for this, which you are aware of? I'll repeat.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Setting a refresh
Hmm.
job run in Power BI.
Okay, great. Yeah. So first you will write the Power Query to point to a folder, and as the files keep coming in, it will do the incremental, I mean, it will do the refresh. And finally, that scheduled refresh will work in the service, and you'll get the latest data, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So that is how you'll do it. Now, my next question. Okay, now today every company is talking about one topic, which is AI, right? Now let's say I want to take this sales data and do something like I want to feed it into AI models. Now what should I do? Okay, BI is ready. Every day my dashboard is getting refreshed. I can see what are my latest sales in the dashboard, and it's very clear. Now I want to feed this data, this sales data which I'm getting in BI to an AI model. Now what should I do? You understood my question? Yes. Anyone?
So, Sanjay, I don't know what exactly AI model you are talking about. Like AI model where?
Yeah.
Which AI model you are talking about? Like,
It can be anything. Any AI model. See, I want to get the model to fed into any kind of AI because there will be different models running, right? There'll be some models focused on NLP, some models will be focused on like regression, classification, can be anything.
okay.
It's a generic open-ended question. So now
No.
if you think about it, when I asked this question, there was a silence. Like again, you are trying to figure out, okay, to where should I feed this data into? So if this data has to be used for AI, whatever I'm feeding for BI, because ultimately if you want to work on AI, you need data. And the data, whatever you're feeding into AI, that's exactly the data which you have to feed to AI as well, the clean, structured data, if I have to put it in a better way. Now the question, now this is where there is a lot of struggle in the organizations, or even when it comes to the whether it's MNCs or even small companies. This is where the problem is coming. If you want to build something on AI, you first need data. But unfortunately, the data is completely diverted to BI, right? I mean,
Hmm.
until 2 years or even right now, if you look at majority of the companies. So today, if you want to execute an AI model, I mean, if you want to build an AI model, whether it's a chatbot or an ML model or data science model, anything for that matter, again, you have to take that data out of that current warehouse which is there. You have to take it into somewhere like Databricks or some an equivalent platform, and then again you have to do the AI ML part. So there is Databricks has succeeded a little bit because Databricks supports both BI workflows as well as AI workflows. So both are supported by Databricks. So let's say if you have a set of data which you want to use for reporting, you can use it for BI. I mean, BI is for reporting, right? And if you want to use it for AI also, yes, Databricks supports that as well. And that is one point where Databricks was able to successfully get into the market. And Databricks has become so successful that Microsoft came up with its own version, which is Fabric, right? Without Databricks, I don't think Fabric would have come into the market. Microsoft would not have introduced, is what I feel, because Fabrics, I mean, Databricks solved a problem which many enterprises were battling with, like with respect to duplication of data, data silos, etc. That is exactly the problem which Microsoft realized that, okay, Databricks has clicked very well in the market, and then they have come up with Fabric. Now, what is the advantage of Fabric over Databricks? That's the next question. Because today, if you ask me, let me share my screen. So now I think it will make more sense for me to share. First, let me show you what was the landscape before Databricks became popular and after Databricks became popular. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you noticed until 2023, so Power BI was more associated with Power Platform. So this is what was there. So Microsoft kept pushing Power BI, and because of Power BI success, Power Automate, Power Apps, they all just went into that Power branding, and they were all successful. I mean, Power Automate, I mean, it's very, very high in demand if you think about it, even now also, because it's automation at the end of the day. Now, from 2024, like from last 1 year, if you notice, Power BI, even though it's associated still with Power Platform, Microsoft has is giving more push to Power BI in Fabric. So if you look at both of these images, Power BI is something which is common in both. And if you notice, Power BI is just one component in Fabric. So in Fabric, you have multiple components, and two components which many of you might be familiar with is Power BI and then Data Factory. And Data Factory also, the symbol is different here. Generally, if you look at Data Factory symbol in Azure, it's different. So Azure Data Factory, we call it ADF, short form. But here, if you notice, he has rebranded it with few extra features which are not available on the ADF. So for example, if you think about ADF, those who worked on ADF, there the activities which you add in the pipelines, and if you compare the activities in Fabric, they'll be little different. In Fabric, you can add a Outlook activity and Teams activity to send a notification. You don't need to add a web activity and connect it to API. All those things are not needed. It's much more simplified here. Anyway, then you have real-time intelligence. Real-time intelligence means more, we are mostly talking about streaming data. So you have batch data and then you have streaming data. Streaming data means what? Let's say if you have IoT devices, sensors. So when sensors are there, especially in manufacturing, and also even when you talk about some critical data which keeps flowing at very short bursts of time, you need insights in real time and you have to act upon it also very fast. So generally for streaming and for batch processing, earlier there used to be fragmentation. That is another problem which Databricks has solved. So whether you are dealing with batch data means what? Your data will come once in a day or once in a week or once in a month. Streaming data means it comes in fraction of seconds or fraction, like it will come in minutes or seconds, but definitely not days or weeks. So that is built in. So you can say stream processing. Then you have databases. Databases means we are talking about mainly from BI point of view. If you talk about, we are talking about data warehouses. That is there. Then of course analytics. So something which is related to BI. So analytics is there. And then industry solutions. We are talking about like everything packaged. Like it includes data science, AI, ML, everything. Like you can say something like that, right? It's a packaged solution we are talking about. Then you have BI, which is already there. Then you have Copilot. So if you ask me, Copilot in Fabric, mainly people use it for writing the code in the notebooks. So we'll come to that later. And then you have OneLake and then Microsoft Purview. This Purview is something very new. This is used for data governance. This will come to it later. And OneLake. Okay. So this is the overview, right? Now, the next question which I want to ask is, why do we need, I mean, if you, okay, next question, before I ask the next question, let me show you how Fabric looks. So this is how Fabric actually looks, right? It's in a browser. Now you don't have to install anything except Power BI. Power BI, you do it locally, like Power BI desktop, you have to download, but notebooks, pipelines. So if you see here, for example, in my screen, so you have notebooks, you have pipelines, you have SQL endpoints, lake houses, everything, whatever you see, you work everything online. So most of these things which you see, they are web browser based. Of course, there are some tools which you can download offline and browse them, but mostly you can do things online itself. And only thing is, if you want to get the visualization output, then you will download Power BI Desktop, connect it to one of the semantic models, and then you will publish it. Even when you publish, again, Power BI, you will access it in same Fabric service only, like Power BI service. So this is how Fabric is. Now, my question is, now, if you want to do something on Excel, we generally download that Office 365 suite and then we will open Excel locally and we'll do it. And browser-based Excel is also available, but generally we do it locally. The same thing when it comes to Power BI as well. We download Power BI desktop, install it, and then we work on it. Now the question is, why are we not applying the same logic for pipelines or notebooks? For example, if you think about a notebook like this, so a lot of code is written here, right, in the notebook, like it is done using you can say PySpark. Now my next question is, why are we using notebooks online instead of downloading and doing it offline? What could be the reason? So we can do it offline also, right? But why are we doing it online? Why not like Excel or Power BI where we can write this code locally offline and do it? Why do we need internet connectivity to do this?
These might be connected with other pipelines in a Microsoft Fabric.
Not really. I mean, It's not really connected to pipelines, if I have to be honest, because when you run the pipeline, yes, notebooks are connected. But again, when you run it, but to develop and to develop or test for that matter, even for testing, why do you need notebooks to be there in the browser? Why can't we download it just like Excel or Word and do it? What you said is okay, but there is a bigger reason, main reason.
Could it be because all the resources are deployed online in the backend?
Exactly. Yes, perfect. So the reason why we are running all these things online, because you have to understand how Fabric works versus how Power BI or Excel works. So the number one thing which you have to understand is, without getting into too much technical details, if you look at architecture, generally what happens when you talk about, okay, I'll give you an example. This I wrote in LinkedIn as well, in a post. I'll give the same example here for everyone to understand. Imagine you have a library, okay? And I ask you to give me three books from the library, and there is only one librarian. So let's assume nothing is organized, for example, or let's assume things are organized but not completely. It's like semi-organized, we'll call it. So this is one setup where there is only one librarian. You have a semi-organized data. Like there are like three category of books. Category wise, you have different sections in the library, but within each category, it is not organized. So that's why I said semi-organized. If one librarian has to do it, it will take a lot of time, because even though the sections are already divided, the categories of books, within each category, again, you have to go and search and you have to come up with the answer. You have to come up with that book and give it to someone. Now imagine, instead of one librarian, you have three librarians. So each librarian will go to one categories, one section of the library, search the notebook and give it to you. Which one is faster? One librarian searching one by one each category, or three librarians searching three categories?
Definitely, the answer would be
The
two.
vectorized version will be the preferred one.
Yeah. Yes. So the second approach is the better one, right? Because you have parallel working, which is being done here. So three librarians will parallelly work and get you the result. Now the same logic applies to Fabric as well. Fabric behind this notebook, which you see, is a distributed engine or a distributed computing which is working. So you have clusters, Spark engine will be there. There will be clusters, and these clusters will have master node and executor node. So basically, in a very simple layman language, if I have to explain, it is, think of like your processors, single core versus multi-core. It's like that. So what happens is, when I run this notebook, it is depending on the amount of data, depending on the cluster configuration, it is not one cluster which is working. There'll be multiple, no, one cluster with multiple nodes running in the background, and each node will take one piece of data and it will work parallelly and give me the output. So if you think about it, if I have to run this notebook locally, I might install something like an application locally, but in my computer, there are only like probably quad core or octa core processor. But imagine if your data is like terabytes and it's very huge. So many columns, multiple tables are there, and you have to run a notebook, like you have to process this entire data, do the transformations, and again you have to you have to write the logic, you have to test it, all these things are there. Now, if I take, let's say, any tool like Excel, for example, my local machine will get overloaded because it's not going to work properly. Because just to load the data itself is a challenging part. On the top of loading the data, I have to do transformations. My computer will get hanged, right? It will get stuck. The same thing will happen whether you are using any kind of application locally. But when you do something online, because there are clusters which are running in the background, parallelly they are working, the computing power is scalable. Like for example, if I want only small cluster, I'll only take the small cluster. If I want to take very big cluster, I can take very big cluster. So this entire thing is managed in a cloud environment. So the entire processing is happening in the cloud. It is not happening locally. And that is the reason why it will overcome the limitations which we have in our local desktops. So even if your data is, let's say, 100 terabytes, still this notebook can handle that. Why? Because it has a cluster running parallelly. There is a distributed computing which is happening in the background. But if I want to do the same data locally, it is limited by two things. One is my storage, second one is RAM. Now, what if I get a project where I have to deal with 100 terabytes of data? Okay, let's assume that I invest a lot of money and get a laptop which has 100 terabytes of storage. Once that project is over, I may not have any use case for this laptop which I invested for 100 TB of data. Until I get another 100 TB project, I will not be using this and it will stay idle. And whatever money I have invested to buy that 100 TB worth of laptop or storage, that goes waste. But when you talk about clusters, what will happen when you talk about storage or clusters or anything related to cloud? They work on a scaling model. Like, let's say today I want 100 TB of data, I can immediately take it. It's like pay as you go, right? I'll take 100 TB of data, and when I don't need it, I will remove. I mean, I will just either transfer it to some other place or I'll delete that data and I'll say, no, I don't need 100 TB of data anymore. My work is done. You can just offboard that resource which is there. So that is the advantage of working with cloud. So you are not limited by your local machine or you are not limited by your hardware. So it is more like, think of renting versus buying. So this entire model works on subscription or pay as you go model. So there is nothing where you are doing something locally. Like 90% of the work, major work will be done in the cloud. And that is the biggest advantage of using something like Fabric over Power BI or Excel or any of the local tools. Now let me go back here. Now, if you look at this entire platform, tomorrow, let's say if I want, so let me show you this one. So here I have different things, right? I have pipelines, notebooks, lake house, all these things are there. Now, why do I use a pipeline first of all? So let me explain what is a pipeline. Pipeline means, let's say I have data in SAP, or let's say I have data in some Oracle server, or let's say I have some data in Google Cloud. What I can do is there will be a connector which will be there. I mean, in ADF we call it linked service. Here it is much more simplified than that. Here also, I mean, here it will be little different. So basically we need to have a connector and we need to have those login credentials and all basically to access the data. That required access is needed from the administrator. Once we have the access, what we will do is we'll try to build a pipeline where there'll be, it is very similar to ADF. If you use ADF, it's exactly the same. I would say 90% same. So we'll try to connect it to that source and then we'll try to move the data. There is one option called copy activity. So if you see copy activity, there is a source and then there is a destination. Source can be anything. It can be your ERP system. It can be REST APIs, like something related to your app. It can be related to, like, you can say ADLS storage, like you can say data lake storage. It can be anything. Destination, you can either put it in your lake house or you can put it somewhere. I mean, you can even put it in your warehouse as well if you want, like with a workflow. Now let me close this. So this is about pipeline. So basically pipeline is used for bringing data from different sources into your Fabric environment. Now the next part is, let's say you already have a data in data lake. Let's assume that you are maintaining a data. You don't have an ERP system. You have your data in Azure data lake and you want to transform that data. Or let's say the data is there in your one lake, in your local, I mean, in your Fabric one lake storage. So you want to do the transformation. Transformation means ETL. So generally what you will do, you will use Power Query, right? Instead of Power Query, you will actually use these notebooks. Now in these notebooks, you can see we'll try to define what is the source, what are the table names, we'll write some functions and everything. So whatever you're seeing is PySpark. There are 4 languages which are supported, PySpark, Scala, SQL, and R. So basically PySpark is nothing but it's like very similar to Python. Pandas and NumPy if you have worked on, it's very similar to that. And Scala also, it's very similar to Python or PySpark, very similar. Little bit difference in syntax will be there, but overall logic and all, if you see, it will be similar as well. And SQL, I think many of you know, and then R is there. So any of these languages, but generally, if you look at from industry point of view, most of the people use either Python or they use SQL. These two are very popular. Scala and R, I don't think many people really use it. So you'll write notebooks like this, and then finally so these notebooks, what you can do is you can either use these notebooks to read the data, do the ETL, and write back the data, or you can also use these notebooks to explore your data, right? For example, here if you see, first I'm reading a file which is there, and then I'm writing the file which is there. Now you might be thinking like, but where is the path of the file? Where is the data which is there, etc., etc. So actually my file is there in the one lake, like you can say in the lake house. So here I have already loaded some of my data, which is there initial and daily for incremental reference. This is just a sample project, of course. And from there, I'm just trying to read it. So here you can see it's going to file section, and then it is going to initial load, which is this folder. And then it is having the table name. So this table name is a parameter. It's like a dynamic thing. So if I do a hard coding, what will happen? I can only use this code for that particular table. If I use a parameter like this, like a variable like this, what will happen is I can use it for any table I want. So even if 100 tables come and if I want to load, all I have to do is just replace this, just assign a value to this variable and I'll get it. So that's how you'll write the notebooks. Like these are all comments and then you'll write the notebooks. Of course, here you can take help of Copilot. Copilot works, and even you can, even in Databricks, those who worked on it, you'll be familiar. There also you have an AI assistant. So this is a notebook. Now, this is called Lakehouse. Now, what is the difference between a warehouse and a lakehouse is Lakehouse supports structured as well as semi-structured data. Warehouse supports only structured data, clean data. Now, another difference between lakehouse and warehouse is if there is a warehouse, you can only use T-SQL and Microsoft SQL to query it. But if you have a lake house, you can actually use your PySpark as well. Your PySpark, you can use these notebooks you can use to query the data. You can do anything you want. So that is also another difference. Now, if you look at this, these are all different tables, which this is all sample data, by the way. So you can see everything. And let me go back. Let me show you another thing. So there is something called SQL endpoint, right? Within Lakehouse only. Here also you can change it actually. Let me show you. Just give me one. Yeah, here you can see on the top right, there is one option called Lakehouse, one option called SQL Analytics Endpoint. So this is the endpoint which you will use to connect it to your Power BI. So ultimately, if this data is there, here you can see there is an option to create a new semantic model. This semantic model is what you will see in your regular Power BI workspaces. You have a report, dashboard, semantic model, and other things, right? So this is there. And one more thing which is missing here in this thing is like if I say new item, there is also another thing called data flow. I think data flow also is very much familiar term for those of you who worked with Power BI. If you worked on Power BI, again data flow is something which you will already be familiar with. So basically data flow is something which is very similar to Power Query. So it's a low code, no code thing which is there. Now the question is, why can't we use data flow only to do all these transformations? Why do we need notebooks? Because Power Query works fine. We can use a data flow itself. Now the answer is data flows are expensive. Notebooks are very low cost compared to data flows. So your fabric will have different capacity levels, right? So if I just show you fabric capacity pricing. So in licensing, so there are different capacities which are available in fabric. So each capacity, you will have a calculator as well, like depending on your workflows. Like I will say calculator. So there is something called estimator. Now here you can give list of things. Like for example, what is the total size of your data? Number of batch daily cycles, what all things you'll be using, data factory, Spark jobs, data science, warehouse, Power BI, all these things. If you add all the information, here it will actually give you which of these SKUs can be suitable for fabric, right? So you have different SKUs. Now F64 SKU is something which will automatically give you PPU, a premium per user license. For those who are working on Power BI can understand. Otherwise, I don't want to go too technical into this. So that is how it works. So in Fabric, the computation is done using capacity unit, CU, what we call it. So how will you know how much CU you will be consuming is through this estimator. So if you enter all the details here, it'll actually give you the estimate, right? So let's say I have 20 data sources. Every day I have 10 batches of data coming. Let's say I'm going to use Power BI, Spark Jobs, everything. Let's say I'm going to use. Let's say I have 5 hours of operation. Let's say I have 500 people viewing. Let's say there are 10 developers working, and okay, this is optional, this is fine. And here there is also your speed, like how many cores you want and etc. I'll say calculate. Let me just put this. Let's say I have 100 GB and I'll say calculate. So here you can see there is a percentage which is like calculation, like for this capacity, this is the breakup of different services, like how much they consume. So if you see, still there is 23%, you can say unused capacity. So depending on your data size, how often do you do the refreshes, how much of data processing you need, depending on all these things, your cost and everything will come. That includes even the storage as well. So this will be, I mean, this is how Fabric licensing and everything works. Now the next question. Now what will happen to Power BI licensing? Now, Power BI licensing earlier, the way how it used to be and how it is now after Fabric, it has changed. Okay. So now everything is slowly consolidating or merging into Fabric system, right? So that is about licensing part. Now, the next part which I want to talk about is what about the Power BI existing features? Like if you look at it, you still have deployment pipelines, you still have workspace concept. So here you have all the workspaces. Still you have a lot of features. I mean, the at least the interface is very much familiar with Power BI, right? So still a lot of familiarity will be there. But that being said, if you are someone who wants to expand on your Power BI skills, or someone who is looking at future ready, like next 5 years, if you are looking into your career, so Databricks is one good option to learn, and Fabric is another good option to learn. If you are someone who is already into Microsoft ecosystem, then if you ask me, okay, which one should I choose? Obviously, Fabric will be the number one choice. Now coming to the next part. Now one question which always comes is, but Sanjay, I'm not seeing any kind of openings for Fabric, or I'm not seeing any kind of, I mean, I'm not hearing Fabric much. Now the answer is, if you think about Power BI. Power BI first got launched in 2015. Like it was in preview, and then general availability, I think it's in 2015 or 2016. By the time Power BI boom came, it was 2020. So it took almost 5 years for Power BI to boom. The same thing for Power Apps and Power Automate as well. So for Power Apps, if I'm not wrong, it came around 2016 or 17, and it has started taking off from 2022 or 2023, somewhere around that time. And even if you take Power Automate, initially Power Automate, before that it used to be part of SharePoint. There used to be called Flows. That is the name. Then Microsoft has introduced something separate called Power Automate, and then it took a little bit of time for that to also take off. When it comes to Microsoft, the problem is initially a lot of technologies, they don't make much buzz. Even Azure, if you take, initially it was released as Windows Azure. Then at the time, of course, like from day one, OS is always number one, AWS is always number one. But today, if you look at how Azure is, or how Power Platform is, how Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, everything, if you see, they are competing either in top two or top three positions. Some of them top one as well. The same thing will happen with Fabric as well, because Microsoft has tie-ups with a lot of governments. I mean, not just in India. It has tie-up with a lot of governments across the world. It has tie-up with a lot of enterprises like Fortune 500 companies. So because already companies use Office 365, they already use Power BI. For them, adopting to Fabric will be much less expensive than adopting to Databricks or any other tools which are available. Now, let's say if you are someone who is not much into Microsoft ecosystem, yeah, then whether you learn Fabric or Databricks, both are equally compelling. But looking at the way how Microsoft is taking Fabric right now, looking at how aggressively they are going, definitely Fabric will be something which will be talked about in the next 2 to 3 years. There will be a lot of boom. And even if you look at the openings which are available online, it is increasing day by day. Today, a lot of companies are expecting people to clear Fabric certification, to be Fabric ready. And a lot of companies are now getting a lot of projects related to Fabric. Like slowly they are getting. but definitely it will take off. Now coming to another very popular topic is, okay, uh, people say that, okay, I'm not good with coding. I know very basic level of SQL. I know very basic level of PySpark or Python. So am I ready to even learn Fabric, or should I even consider learning Fabric because the entire thing sounds very technical? Now, one thing you have to remember is you look at what's happening in the market right now. Whether you talk about AI, you talk about BI, or you talk about any technology, lot of changes are happening in the landscape of the market. So yes, companies are saying because of AI layoffs are happening, but that's not true. Every lot of people know definitely some layoffs are because of AI, but not the entire chunk. Like there are different reasons for it.
Sanjay,
Overhiring,
Sanjay, I'm
overhiring
seeing,
happened. Yeah,
Sanjay, to your point, I'll say repurposing is happening. For
correct, correct. Yeah,
example,
yeah,
to
that's what
your
I
point,
wanted to. Yeah,
to your point, when you said, you know, the industry is expecting that if yesterday you did basics of Power BI, Excel, SQL, this is no longer enough. You need to know something more than that, and that something more is Fabric. And Sanjay is telling you in simple words why. Because of the lack of we don't have a lot of hours today, so we are going slow. We'll be having multiple sessions. We are going slightly fast. We'll be having multiple sessions to help you understand. Keep peeling the layers of the onion one by one. Okay.
yeah,
So if you don't understand something, there are new terms. Please feel free to talk to us in our MS Fabric group. We have a specialized MS Fabric group created for this purpose so that we can have an ongoing discussion, guys. Okay.
yeah. Yes. To add to what Arun has said, today the expectation of every company from their employees is to upskill, whether it is related to AI or something related to data, right? If you look at, like, a lot of people talk, right? We need AI, AI, AI. Everywhere people are talking about AI. To do AI, you need data first. Without data, you cannot do AI, right? It doesn't work that way. To get data AI ready, you need something like Fabric notebooks, or you need something like Databricks, or you need something related to these platforms. Only when your data is ready, then you are ready to deploy AI into it. I mean, into the picture. Now, this is one aspect. Now, the second aspect is, what about the AI tools? Like, as a business user or as an end user, the expectation is that your workflow should be fast. Like, companies are expecting the workflow to go, I mean, the work to whatever work or productivity which is there, they want the productivity to become faster, right? They want take it to the next level. Now, because of AI, another thing what is happening is today companies are forcing developers, or even they're asking developers to add AI into their workflow. Right? For example, recently Satya Nadella, he mentioned that 30% of their code generation is already happening with AI. Yes, definitely it will not be 100%. Humans will always be there. But the expectation is that you work along with AI. AI is not something which will replace you. The expectation is you will work along with AI, whether it's Copilot or any, I mean, like you can say VS Code or any ID you use, any tool you use, your AI will be your partner. Like, for example, if you think about this notebook which is there, a very good example I'll give you here to I mean, to make my point. Sorry, not this. To make my point. Now imagine you want to do a calculation. What do you use? You use a calculator, right? Calculator, or probably you'll use Excel to do your calculations. But that being said, still you have to learn the basics. Like, for example, let's say you want to multiply some numbers. The basic expectation is you learn multiplication tables from 1 to 10, and anything about 10 or anything about 20, then you'll depend on calculator. So let's say if you want to multiply three digit number by three digit number, yes, you'll go ahead and use a calculator. But you cannot come back and say that, okay, anyway, I'm using calculator, so why should I even learn the basics of multiplication? That doesn't work. At least you should know how to multiply single digit by single digit, so that for single digit multiplication, still you'll do the mental math, but for two digit or three digit and above, you'll use the calculator, right? Now here also the same thing works. One is to work AI as a tool, as an end user, to boost your productivity, like using Gen AI tools, for example. That is one aspect. But the second aspect is, knowing how these AI tools work, that is also equally important. Now you might always argue, but as an end user, why should I care? Why should I even learn about these tools, etc., etc.? So one thing you have to keep in mind is today what is happening in the market. If you ask me, like for example, I studied MBA, and I was I was a good student, and I got very good opportunities in finance. Finally, what made me not to choose finance and get into the digital or IT side is this is a shocking thing for me 5 years back. So initially my plan was to learn finance and then get into a finance role. Then I thought about it. Okay, I learned finance. My credentials are very good. I got a go. I mean, I was the topper, etc., etc. And campus placements are also going. Of course, COVID hit. Then few challenges are there, but still I was getting interview calls and all. But what I noticed was, imagine you are into sales and marketing. I'll just give a very good example for this. You are into sales and marketing. Now, right now, if you want to buy something, where are you buying? Are you going to store or are you buying online? So most of us are buying online, who are in cities especially. Now the more you buy online, the more the turnover will be for e-commerce or quick commerce companies, right? So today we are ordering a lot of things on Blinkit, Swiggy, Zomato. We are using Uber. We are relying more and more on online, right? Especially on the e-commerce. Right now that sale is also happening in Amazon and Flipkart. Now, let's say I want to build a targeted ad system. Like I want to create a personalized ad system for Amazon. Let's say I'm working in Amazon team. Ideally speaking, this work should be done by a sales and marketing person because they are the ones who have direct connect with customers and they are the ones who can build a very good recommendation system or an ad system, targeted ads. But what is actually happening? It is not being done by sales and marketing team. It is actually being done by data scientists, data engineers, and ML ops and all these guys. It's a marketing project, but execution is being done by the IT professionals or data professionals, if I have to put it even more specific. Who are getting paid more? Like if you hire a fresher who is into sales and marketing, that fresher will get only 6 lakhs or 5 lakhs salary, even though that person has an MBA. And normal fresher. Let's say if you're from a decent college, maybe you'll get like 15 lakhs or something like that. Now, yes, it is true that even in IT, if you are from a normal college, you'll start at 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs salary, max to max. But fast forward 4 years or fast forward 5 years, the marketing guy will still be earning 15, 20, or 25. But if you look at IT salaries, they're progressing, they're doubling, tripling, and even becoming 4 times. Today, there are people with 3, 4 years of experience earning 25, 30 plus. Why they are earning? Not because they are working more hours, because they are having the skills in demand. Today, the same thing is happening even with our payments. Today, we are all using UPI, right? Now, ideally, who should be building these finance systems? Chartered accountants or people from finance background have to build it. But who are actually building Paytm, Google Pay, and everything? These are being built by the software engineers. The same thing is happening with data as well. All the supply chain projects, finance projects, HR projects, marketing projects, all these are being executed by engineers or they are being executed by data engineers or data scientists or data analysts. Those are not being done by business people. So because of that, what is happening? A lot of people who are working on the business side, they are forced to learn these tools and stay relevant. Today, let's say you lose an IT job. Like today, there is a lot of this buzz around layoffs, right? Today, if you lose an IT job in India, it's very easy to find another job if you have good set of skills, the demanded skills. But let's say today, if you lose a management job, it is very difficult to get back to the market with the same level of skill, role, salary, etc. Now, why did I bring this point? Because it again depends on your expectations and your choice. Whether you want to learn, don't want to learn, that's up to you. But if not Fabric, you have to learn some other tool. If not some other tool you have to learn. So either you have to learn X or Y or Z. So which tool you want to learn, that's your choice. And second thing is, today people are looking at techno-functional people. Like for example, let's say if there is a marketing department, they want people who can understand technology and business both. And you're already seeing that in the market right now, the expectation. Earlier, when they are hiring for finance role, they only used to ask Excel skills. Today, you look at a lot of job descriptions in financial analyst and all this, they are specifically asking Power BI. 5 years back when I said Power BI is very much needed even for business professionals, even for finance analysts, people used to disagree with me. People used to say, Sanjay, why do we need Power BI? That's too technical. We are from BCom background. We are from MCom background. Why should we learn? Today, if you notice, that's exactly what is happening in the market. Now, the same thing will happen when it comes to other tools and technologies as well. Today, Power BI has become like Excel. Everyone is recommending Power BI. Even if you look at universities, they are also teaching Power BI. It became very normal. The same thing will happen with any of these tools. So today, if you open CFA, right? CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst. So CFA, a lot of people are studying level 1, level 2, level 3. In CFA curriculum, they started including Python codes. So if I just show you, there is CFA. In their books, they're actually using, they are giving three things. One is the Excel code, second is Python code, third one I'm not remembering. That is what they have done. Even for investment professionals, they're actually asking people to learn Python fundamentals. Now, if you see this is a CFA institute. Even they have started including Jupyter notebooks, Jupyter notebook, Python code for finance-based data science projects. This is exactly the point which I was telling earlier. This is only for finance. There are marketing projects, HR projects, and supply chain projects, etc. So if you are someone who want to work on projects like this, be in the execution part, then these skills are going to help you a lot. So whether it's, I mean, again, it's not about Fabric here. It's about any platform for that matter, whether it is Fabric or some XYZ skills. So this is my viewpoint about whether you should learn Fabric or not. So now I think I think 1 second, let me check the time. I think we are coming to the end of the time. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Hello?
Yeah, Sanjay. Thank you very much, Sanjay. Actually, I have a few couple of questions.
Okay.
The one is that like Fabric license? Because I don't know whether my organization provides that or not. Or I have to buy that because currently I'm new to that atmosphere of like learning SharePoint. I have built few Power Automate tools as well. Power Automate I'm using since last 2 years, but SharePoint, deploying SharePoint, and then because coming across the data limitation over there, now I'm planning to do Dataverse. So I'm not sure if Fabric is a part of ecosystem which has already been provided, or how can I check that? If you can quickly show that if possible at your end.
Yes, definitely. So there is one URL I'll be putting in the chat box. So there you have to go and check with your email whether your Fabric trial, you can take a trial account,
Okay, okay.
or you can ask your organization to assign a license in case they are already using, or I think you can try this trial account with this URL.
Okay, done, done. And the second question is, like learning Fabric, just after like as you are visiting after 2 or 3 years, of course, but currently it is already in use. Then how much like salary that we can pitch in to the recruiters? Because I'm also from the commerce background. I'm not from that tier 1 or 2 cities, coming from a remote area where I just have a degree in Masters of Commerce. So in that case, how much can pitch in into the future with
Yeah.
experience of 5 to 6 years in O2C?
Yeah. See, the first thing is, Arun, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I was actually
Okay,
driving.
fine. Yeah, yes, Yogesh. To answer your question, yeah. So the first thing is when it comes to the roles which are available in data, there are like different roles. Now, when you talk about Fabric, Fabric is like a unified platform. So here you have BI, then you have data engineer, then you have data scientist, you have different roles which are broadly defined. But if you ask me, Fabric is more into data engineering because it will encompass everything. Although it's a unified platform, it is more of a data engineering kind of thing, which is being portrayed as in the market right now. So when it comes to data engineering roles, like when you talk about the skill set and other things, the first thing they will see is your SQL and PySpark skills. And when you talk about the salary range and all, I mean these two are prerequisite.
Let,
So
let me
irrespective of
let
whether
me
you like
let me give a simple answer to him.
yeah.
So my first reaction. Sorry, I was driving, so I was with a friend. Um, Yogesh, first off, SharePoint. It's good that you have that knowledge. You can augment that knowledge, but you're wasting your time. I'll be very simple and blunt and honest. People learning SharePoint who have anything to do with SharePoint, it's a great skill to have had in the past, whether it is SharePoint X or Y or Z, administration or just ordinary user, but it's no longer even nice to have. That you are wanting to learn Fabric is great. The salary levels can range anywhere from 7-8 lakhs to about 60 lakhs, depending upon your level of experience and your background. Um, if you notice, previously people doing Power BI, Excel, SQL used to get a decent salary. Nowadays, with cloud, with Fabric, with other tools available, it is being expected by the industry that you should have something more, and it is no longer nice to have. It is a must-have skill that they are starting to. Most of the most of the job ads, most of the portals are now saying, "Do you know cloud? Yes or no? Do you know how to use Fabric? Yes or no?" Those kind of things are appearing more and more in job ads, and lots of the audience members, whether they are COE or people that we see on LinkedIn, "Sir, I need a job. Sir, my profile." People write us in silly ways saying, "Sir, I applied in Naukri. I applied here, there. I'm not getting
Yeah.
any job." So guys, if you want a decent, if you want to say, uh, hey, I want to earn premium salary means you have to have a premium skill. Basics of SQL and basics of any technology is no longer considered a premium skill. Premium skills in the market are Fabric, Databricks, cloud computing. These cloud computing using Azure, those kind of skills are your premium skills. If you don't have premium skills, you can either be satisfied and content with whatever you have, whatever is it that you get. Let's say somebody's into business management. He says, or somebody's into finance like Sanjay was, and he says, "Oh, I don't want to learn IT. I'm just happy with whatever I get. Today I am 25 years old. Tomorrow I'll get 30 years old. I'll keep on using Power BI, SQL, Excel." Now they get married and they have a kid. They will still keep on using it. At the end of the day, they'll realize, "Oh my God, today I am 35 suddenly." Because all of you are, because if you are 25, someday you're going to become 35, right? And if you keep having the old skill set, nobody in the market or even in your own house, people are not going to pay you any money.
Yeah, to answer your question in numerical terms, I put it in the chat box right now. So a very good ballpark figure for data roles is 3x, 4x, 5x. So let's say you have 3 years of experience. The minimum or very good salary range for that, I mean, a normal salary range for that will be 9 lakhs. And 5x is like 3 years into 5, if you say it's 15. So the range will be from 9 to 15. Let's say if you have, let's say for example 5 years of experience, it will be somewhere around 15 lakhs to 25 lakhs. Let's say if you have 10 years of experience, 30 to 50. So this is a very good ballpark range which I can give. So
Correct.
5x, it can even exceed 5x. So again, it depends, like we have to consider inflation, all these other things. But today if you ask me to give a exact figure, like a range, a very good range, this is the range for data roles at least. I
So
mean, when I say data
with
roles, it is mostly into data engineering role. Now, this multiplier is for data engineering role. Now, if you ask me for Power BI roles, the multiplier you have to reduce it by 1. It will be 2x, 3x, 4x.
so either you can, so today if you look at two basic profiles around which your certifications like 600 and 700 have been designed, if you, there are multiple type of roles, but if you consider the most basic level, you can become a fabrics analytics engineer or you can become a fabrics data engineer. There's a slight difference between you know the 600 version and the 700 version, meaning there's a slight difference between if you want to stay only in analytics or do you want to uh, master higher skills and uh, lead your way into data engineering. So many
And
kind of roles are available, guys.
yeah, and by the way, whatever figure which I have given 3x, 4x, 5x, it is for your fixed component. I am not going to talk about ESOPs and other things. Here I am only talking about your your base salary, probably your retention, and probably your you can say annual, not even annual bonus, that is variable I'll consider without ESOPs. Whatever figures I gave you is without ESOPs.
So guys, I want to move on to other participants.
Yeah.
Please talk about your questions because once we close down the recording, we're going to talk a little bit about the course that we have, which is coming up. We will just show you the brochure and talk about the basics, and we let you join our Microsoft Fabrics group and ask all the questions that you have. Every single question will be answered related to the course, and we intend to launch it around October 13th tentatively, but it depends on how serious people are to earn more money, to get more recognition, to get more knowledge. But I don't want any one of you to be shy, regardless of what background you are from or what experience level you have. Even if you are a beginner, even if you just graduated from college, it's okay to ask a question. There are no dumb questions. If you want to find the words fresher, it is either me or it is me. So, guys, ask your questions, please. You can unmute yourself and say whatever you want to say.
Hi, Arun, Abhijit this side.
Yeah, Abhijit.
Yeah, so basically, I recently completed PL 300 and now I'm moving towards the Microsoft Fabric. But yeah, I already told like I don't know like how to proceed in this Fabric admin and what all steps will be taken from my side. So,
Okay, I'll say couple things here. So number one, congratulations that you have cleared your PL 300. Many people are behind you, and many people are ahead of you. Okay, the people who are behind you are not even certified on PL 300. That's point number one. Second point is I'm very happy that you decide to take on MS Fabric, which is your obviously the next goal that you have. So to learn MS Fabric, you have to go step by step, and those steps are broken down into the 8 or 9 points that we have. We'll be coming out with a detailed brochure, so we'll help you understand how to go about structured learning of MS Fabric step by step. Obviously, there are lots of YouTube videos available here and there, but instead of today if I decide to learn, anybody has various choices. I can learn from YouTube, I can go buy a book, I can talk to somebody, or there'll be a mentor. But if I learn a structured way, instead of taking an year to learn, I can learn something in 7 or 8 weeks. And what our course does is, and I'm not selling anything here, guys. Wherever you want to go learn it. But the point is to learn it, okay, and practice it. Many people, what they do is they go after certifications. So somebody says, "Hey, I've cleared PL 300. I must tomorrow morning I should get certification on 600, 700, X100, Y100, and that is not the goal, guys. Industry, if you really look from a hiring manager's perspective, what they are hoping for is when you wave the suppose I'm carrying 5 different certification. I wave the certifications at them. Hey, recruiter. Hey, hiring manager. These are my 5 certifications, or 10 certification, 14x certified, 15x, 100x certified. Nobody pays any value to it, and many of them will be polite, and some of them will be very blunt. What they will say is, take your certificates and throw it in the recycle bin. We are very happy that you have 100 certifications, but where is your practical knowledge that you can apply? Have you done enough practice? Show us how you have applied it in retail or marketing or whatever area, supply chain. Show us something. Have you built even one single project? So those are the kind of questions or that the recruiting manager or hiring managers typically ask. So even when you have done PL 300, unless you have built something, you have a showcase of projects or a portfolio. Um, Especially if you are a beginner, you should have that. Like Disha Avtani, I don't know if she's attending today. If you do not know Disha Avtani, it's a great thing to know who Disha Avtani is. And I'm going to give these kind of hints here and there. People who catch these hints will understand what I'm talking about. Please go to Disha Avtani's profile, which Sanjay will put in the chat box, or you can ask in the MS Fabrics group. So, in short, I will say that if you learn a structured way from a experienced mentor, that's the best way to learn, because not only you will learn how it should be learned, the best industry practices, you will have, forget about the resume optimization, LinkedIn option, that one does, but you will do project which are hands-on project which you can showcase on LinkedIn. So that's the way to learn, and that is my semi answer to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Arun. Like as you said, like I previously completed few personal portfolio project and then proceeded with the certification. My question was like, is there any prerequisite to do before going into Fabric? Like, should I
uh
be doing PySpark
in in
or
in general.
Python? Then yeah,
So
okay.
Okay, here,
what I would do is the yeah, Sanjay, go ahead, please go ahead.
yeah, see, the way how I look at it is, I mean, if I have to give a very brutal or honest answer from my own experience, sometimes, let's say you want to learn swimming, sometimes you directly jump into the pool. I know it's dangerous, but still, sometimes if you want to learn cycle, you'll be thinking, okay, how can I balance, how to do this, how to do that. Sometimes you have to
Got it.
directly start it. So here also sometimes what happens is we'll get too much into over analysis and we'll keep on thinking, oh, I don't know this, oh, I don't know. Like I'll give a very good example. 5 years back, when people like me were telling, please learn Power BI and all, people were like, oh, I cannot learn DAX, I cannot do this, I cannot do. Now people are learning on their own. Why? Because the industry caught up. The same thing here as well. So the more you see here, I am not again saying that okay, you have to immediately jump and do it, but there you will never feel ready. In a simple way, I have to tell you will never feel that yeah, this is the perfect time to start. There will always be some prerequisite, some hesitation which will always come to your mind. You just have to once you get into it, you will figure it out, like how to handle and how to do it. Even for
So if
me,
it's a
if I have to share
so,
my own experience, it's the same. Yeah.
so in general, if you look at it, if you have done Power BI, that's more than sufficient. If you know basics of SQL, basics of Power BI, you are ready for Fabric. So in your case, Yogesh, you don't have to do anything else. I have, like Sanjay gave the example of swimming. Some people have directly jumped into Fabric, and that's okay. But then what happens is, in those cases they need a slight refresher. So what I have done is we designed a course at COE level, and what we have done is, although we have Fabric topics, but there might be one or two people here and there who say, sir, this is a very good course. However, can you give me a little bit of Power BI refresher? So please tell us a little bit about PySpark. So as you know, that we have a group called Chronicles of Data, Data Directive. So it is nothing but we are doing case studies with PySpark, right? We have been doing it, and many people are attending it. We have done the first two lessons, but we are trying to kind of merge or combine it in such a way that people uh, can get a refresher on PySpark. People can get a refresher on Power BI as well while doing this course. Okay, so prerequisite wise, don't worry about it. This course is structured in such a way that you will get pretty much everything that you need, and you will be able to design projects on your own. But before you jump into projects on your own, we'll hold your hand and give you guidance step by step from our lab exercises.
Yeah,
Got it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
and also to add on one small point here, see, when it comes to any prerequisite or in general, I mean, this is a thumb rule is, let's say you are someone who already worked on Power BI. So you will be already familiar with what is ETL, right? How to, I mean, what steps you do in ETL, like removing the null values, renaming the columns, pivoting, unpivoting, transposing, whatever XYZ steps. Now, when you talk about Fabric, that's the same ETL you'll be doing on the notebook majority of the time, from data engineering point of view. So the learning curve for different people will be different depending on their background. Now, for some people who are already into data, for them it will be faster. For those who are just getting started, it will be a little slower. So definitely that pace will be a little different. But at the end of the day, it all depends on like how fast you can bridge that gap. Like it cannot be same for everyone. Like I cannot say that a person who already know Power BI, who already have work experience in Power BI, to spend the same amount of time for someone who is a beginner. If you are a beginner, yes, definitely you have to spend more time practicing, more time you have to spend on fundamentals, doing, I mean, repeatedly doing these exercises and all these things. But
So
but it cannot be like one strategy or one formula applying for everyone.
So when COE, whenever, at COE, when we design something, we don't just jump into it, we give it a lot of thought. So what we thought was not only we should give refresher, we should give projects, we should give LinkedIn and resume optimization, we should talk about interview questions, and we should not keep a very long course, because very long course you lose interest. So we've come up with a course that is suitable for beginners as well as people who have done a little bit of Power BI Excel. They're a data analyst. It is excellent for those people because those people will learn slightly faster than others. Right? We intend to do it maybe 4 days a week. We are hoping to gain more feedback, but the way we can cover it in 7 to 8 weeks is by doing it. Many people said, "Sir, Saturday, Sunday, although it's a great thing, we can do it Saturday, Sunday, but sir, Saturday, Sunday, we also want to enjoy. We only get 2 days or one day, in some cases." So we said, okay, since majority of people have asked for after office hours or before office hours, we said, okay, we'll try. What we'll do is we'll do it 4 days a week or 3 days a week, so that you can you can practice. So there can be 2 labs and 2 theory type of sessions, or a mix of it, right? So we will analyze, and that's why we launched this introductory batch. Sanjay, can you show my design for you know the course at a high level? Because many people, they may have seen it in the groups, and many people may not have seen it in the groups. Can I just show a snapshot of because I remember having discussed with you on what we are covering. So on behalf of COE, can you just share that, please? I'm on my cell, so I can't put it on the screen.
Sure, sure, sure. Yes, yes. Just give me a moment. I will just flash it. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
meantime, any questions? Oh, yeah.
So, and guys, so Yogesh, one thing will be, based upon this course, as you practice long, you'll be able to address questions, because while doing the course, we'll keep on sharing quizzes. If you notice, Nilay Mukhopadhyay, who's one of our leads, he has been sharing questions. Many of those questions will be on the DP 600 style. Some questions will be on the DP 700 style. So depending upon what you want to achieve from the point of view of certifications, if you practice along, if people answer those questions, they'll be able to understand and perform good in the exams as well.
Correct.
We intend to have another session where we'll get multiple people. We'll get Sanjay, who has both certifications. We'll get Nilay, who has DP 600. We'll get Prachi, who's one of the leads who has done her own certificate. So we intend to have a panel kind of a thing some other time, maybe next week, maybe next week. We will introduce you to people who have done these certifications, and they'll come on the screen and share the experience where they talk about how I cleared. My name is Arun, and how I cleared DP 600, 700, right? So you will get different feedback and different perspective. What were the study plan? So, for example, if Sanjay cleared that, right? So I'll ask him, Sanjay, you were super busy. You had no time after office hours. Uh, so how did you? What method did you follow to clear it? What were the resources you used, or something like that, or what kind of questions are the focus of those kind of exams as well. So our course is designed in such a
Yes,
way
I
that will
will
help both
share
of you.
my screen. Uh, One
You know what
second.
what disappoints me the most, guys? We have a group of many people. I expect two things. Number one, from the experienced people, I expect that they help the other people, because we have to move from success to significance. Significance is when somebody comes to you and he's trying to ask for help. I want our experienced people who have cleared the certifications or have worked on PL300 to write articles to promote and help other people. From the freshers or people who are new to fabric, I want them to ask a lot of questions, regardless of how dumb it might look to you. Ask the question in English, ask the question in Hindi if you have to, if you're not totally comfortable with English or
Yeah.
you have broken English, it's okay, guys, right?
Yes.
Only if
Yes,
you
Arun,
ask
I
the questions,
opened
you
and shared the
participate in the
screen.
good. I'm not seeing it on the screen, Sanjay, yet. Can you please?
Can others see?
Yeah. And
I
Sanjay,
am visible.
We are not in a hurry. So
Yeah,
don't worry that we have only an hour until go away. I'm okay to have 10-15 minutes extra on this.
fine, fine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I shared the screen. You're not able to see. Wait, let me reshare. I'm resharing for you.
Guys,
Yeah.
can any one of you can see the screen now?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, great. So Sanjay, on behalf, okay, so I can see it here. Sanjay, on behalf of the COE instructor, I know, will you please speak a little bit about it, because I've shared what we are teaching in that.
Yes, yes. So it's going to be a 8 week boot camp. So basically, in this there'll be it's a mix of theory and hands-on lab sessions, and there'll be different case studies, different industries and functional areas which will be covered. Like when you talk about like different functional areas, it can be finance or supply chain or logistics, etc. When it comes to sectors, it can be anything. It can be like pharma, or it can be, let's say, finance, banking, etc. And like this is the overview, you can say. So it will be like foundation, data ingestion, like pipelines, then you have the analytics, then you have the BI, and then the data governance. And there are also like 2 weeks which are focused exclusively on one on PySpark and SQL, and another one is on Power BI and Copilot. And there is also something related to DP 600, DP 700 on the guidance, which is there. And apart from that, there is also, I mean, these are like different roles which are relevant for this. Like, for example, you can talk about, like earlier, someone was asking, like, what roles are what will be the career path. So these are like different roles which demand fabric skills. So that includes both analyst as well as data engineering roles, you can say. And when it comes to like the prerequisites, these are like the prerequisites, you can say, basic SQL and Python. But as you can see here, there is already a specific week focused on this. In case someone is not able to get the confidence, this will help. And of course, you need a minimum 8 GB RAM is needed on your Windows machine. Why Windows machine? Because rest of the fabric will work. I mean, most of the fabric will work even on a Mac. But the problem is with Power BI. Power BI is only supported on Windows. So in case you are using a Mac, you can use Parallels or any of the software to or do a through virtual machine. You can do it. And yeah, this is the overview.
So, guys, my plan was that we can
And
do it with,
this will be the structure. Yeah.
yeah. So, guys, I know it takes a little while to digest this information. We have shared additional information in the group. So, please look at this, look at the brochure, ask your questions in the group. That'll be the best way. Instead of DMing us, it's better to ask in the group. So, and one good thing that we have done is I had requested Sanjay one very important thing. And that important thing was I asked him, can you prepare a assessment form? So instead of talking about it, let me show you the. Can Sanjay, can you please
Yes,
show
yes.
everybody the assessment form, because that assessment form was supposed to help you understand some
Yeah,
important things.
where you are
Sanjay will talk
standing,
about it.
right? Yes, I shared my screen, reshared.
So Sanjay, can you briefly describe
Yeah, yeah,
to the
yes.
people
So,
what was the purpose of this assessment form and what does it assesses?
yeah, so a lot of people have been messaging Arun and me regarding Fabric and Databricks or any of this related to data engineering, basically. So specifically about Fabric, lot of requests have come, and one of the reasons for creating the group is also because a lot of people were asking, is there any specific group for Fabric? Yeah, Power BI group exists, but people wanted something specifically on Fabric because either people want to explore Fabric and some people are already into Fabric. So for XYZ reasons. So that's when we decided to create this Fabric group. And second thing, what happened was once the group was created, still we were getting a lot of DMs like, do you think I'm ready to learn Fabric? Or do you think Fabric is even relevant for me? Because different people have different career paths, different backgrounds, etc. So in order to overcome all of that, what Arun told was, why don't we build a self-assessment? Let people assess for themselves. And then with this assessment, if you like share the scores, like what did you score yourself, and it's a self-assessment, right? You have to score yourself. So no third party will come and score or judge or assess you. So based on this, giving advice or giving any kind of roadmap will be easy. So here you can see, like when you talk about Fabric, so you really need to know where you are standing right now. Like for example, do you know anything related to like fundamentals? Like, do you know how to write SQL queries? Or do you know how to use Excel? Like, how comfortable are you from a scale of 1 to 5? Of course, 5 will be expert, 1 will be like a beginner. So, this is data fundamentals. Then you have cloud and Azure basics. Then you have analytics visualization. Then you have data engineering skills. And then you have the collaboration and governance. Now, here you can see it's a mix of both, you can say like technical as well as conceptual, like you can say hands-on as well as conceptual. So do you understand database concepts? Can you write SQL queries? So here also you can see the same thing. So did you work on Azure before, or do you understand the cloud concept? It's a mix of both. So once you rate yourself, and I have also given like, okay, ultimately what is your career goal? Okay, do you want to become a data engineer, or do you want to upskill for your current role, or what is your motivation to do it? Because there are a lot of people who are like doing Fabric just for the sake of doing it. So to give them more clarity, I clearly defined. You can write multiple things. See, you may be upskilling for current role and you may still be trying for becoming a data engineer in the future. It can be like multiple things at once also can be true. And another thing which I have done is like which Arun suggested was even when you're even when you're exploring fabric, you should know like what exactly is, I mean, why you are doing fabric. So, like for example, people are simply saying fabric, fabric, fabric. First of all, you should have an idea what fabric is, at least the basics. Like this session is mostly about covering that. Like, why do you need fabric? That's where we started, right? So, what excites you about fabric? What are your top skills you want to gain in the next 3 months? I mean, this is keeping the new year in mind, like the year ending. And what
Right.
challenges might hold you back? How will you
There
measure
are,
yourself at the end of 90 days? What is
yeah,
your, no, why these questions are placed? Because rather than simply filling the form, just randomly putting some numbers and submitting it, these questions will force you to introspect yourself. It's like a self reflection. Like
right.
it will force you to research on certain topics. So the more clear you are able to answer these questions, the more clear you will be with regard to fabric, you can say.
Correct, correct. Thank you, Sanjay. Uh, there's a very important thing, there's a very important message I want to give, regardless of who you are and who's listening to this YouTube seminar later. Number one, if you go on LinkedIn, right, or you go on any platform, Medium or whatever platform, Instagram, there will be thousands of self-styled gurus who will talk about, hey, this is a 5 day roadmap, this is a 100 day roadmap, this is so. Whenever we use the word roadmap loosely, if I have to go from, let's say, in India, I stay in New Delhi, or I'm in Pune or Bombay. If I have to go from place X, place A to place B, there can be different kind of riders. Somebody is going by one vehicle, somebody is going by another vehicle. Somebody might know certain shortcuts because they are experienced and they know a better shortcut than Google gives them, right? So please understand that everybody's roadmap can be different based upon where they are. So it is great to see a generic roadmap and say, okay, I understand that, Google is telling me A, B, C, D steps, and if I follow this, I will have some sort of an idea how to go from place A to place B. But it is also important to understand, are there any tips, are there any shortcuts, can you shorten the roadmap, or what are the essential things on the roadmap versus non-essential things. So that comes with interaction with mentors. So don't go chasing Tom, Dick, and Harry's roadmap or Ram, Shyam, Ghanshyam's roadmap just because somebody has put it on LinkedIn. Because a lot of people are on LinkedIn, they are just doing brand partnerships, and what they themselves don't know anything, or they might know something about it. They've been in the industry for 2 to 4 to 6 years, and they are just coming up with random. They pick up a book on Microsoft Fabric, or they go to ChatGPT and they'll put everything under the sun, and they'll say, here is what you need to know, here are the 10 things you need to know if you want to learn X, Y, or Z technology. Guys, please don't do that. In a structured way, understand what are the basic topics. Think from the point of view of hiring managers. So when I started having this discussion in COE about this course, I said, okay, we are going to avoid all those nonsense marketing activities. We are going to focus on uh, what is being asked by the hiring managers. What are the gaps in the industry they are looking for? Um, Especially when it comes to projects, hands-on lab exercises, we don't want to say, okay, create a generic basic copy activity. For example, you have to be able to design a decent project, and you have to be able to showcase projects. I can tell you with a guarantee, because we have been running many batches of Power BI in the past, and we'll continue to do so. Or we have been running batches on Databricks and Snowflake and whatnot. I mean, SQL. If I ask those people, right, not our COE members, because our COE members have done a decent job, but if I go outside and I ask people, hey, Mr. So and so, you have completed a course in Power BI or Python or XYZ, show me and you have got a beautiful certificate which you can wave in front of my face, but please, can you show me, can I see some sample work that you have done? Now, if it was Disha Avtani, she'll say, Sir, oh, sir, come on, you must be joking. Don't you know me, sir? And I'll say, why do you talk like that, Disha? And she'll say, oh, when I was in my MBA first year only, I hadn't even come out of the school. You see my portfolio, sir. Here are the 10 projects on SQL. Here are the 5 projects on Excel. Here are the 10 things on Power BI that I've done. And would you like me to talk about it? That's the confidence that I'm hoping for, guys. That's the exact thing I'm hoping for. I'm not hoping for, oh, I've done a course, I completed a course, or I'm enrolled in the world's best course. Even if you're enrolled in the world's best course from Harvard or Yale or MIT in United States or from ITs in India, you are nobody. Even ITNs are getting only 30% placement, and it's all over the news. Part of the reason is something else, but part of the reason also is you don't have industry ready skills. And this course that I've designed will help you gain the skills. So first you will start from fundamentals, then it will get into different gear. You learn those things and implement it in a project that you can showcase, and then you will be inspired to develop some projects on your own and come back to us and say, hey, I'm working on this sales project or marketing project, or I'm supply chain project, or this project or that project. You'll be surprised that all of our leaders in the internal team of our leadership, they are building projects one by one. If you look at Sanjay, for example, he's one of the glaring examples of this. He built a case study to help people, right, on analytics. Then he built next one, and then he built the next one. Before you knew, he had Sanjay, how many case studies do we have by now?
More than 20, I would say. I mean, 15, two books are there. One is 15 cases,
Wow.
and one is another
So
5.
guys, it started off as a desire to do something, and now we have 15, 20 case studies. So imagine if you can, if you worked along, you would have known so much from those conversations, from attending those seminars. So I'm puzzled when some of the people join just because of FOMO, because any group, any technology group or any business group is not like a walk in the park. You're basically, if you're interested in making money, then you have to forget about making money, develop your skill, and money will follow. It has happened in every single successful case that we have demonstrated in our experience sharing sessions. We have lots of videos, lots of testimonials where we have actually demonstrated. People have come and talked to you guys. So, whenever we have an experience sharing session as well, you have to learn why they have been these guys been successful. Why some people are saying, Sir, I'm crying in front of you. Sir, some people say, Sir, there are no jobs in the market. There is nothing, sir. And same his neighbor or his colleague is telling me, Sir, my God, I'm getting multiple offers. The only difference is right approach, right practice. If you do that, it's a simple formula. There is nothing extraordinary about that. Anybody here that disagrees with me, you can raise your hand and say, Sir, it is totally wrong. I am not getting the jobs, and I'll take it up as a challenge. There are, and guys, one thing that I was talking to my instructor, like all the instructors. We had a meeting, and I said, "Hey Aradhya, hey Sanjay, hey Rashika, hey Ashok, or hey Muskan, and so on, and Kavya." I said, "Okay, guys, talk to me about your top 10 super successful people who are getting multiple offers." I said, "What's the reason?" They said, people have been actually attending the classes, people have been actually practicing, people have been actually doing their resume and LinkedIn properly, people are active on LinkedIn. These are the basic principles, and jobs are running after those people. There's nothing super extra that they are doing, except for following some basic 3 or 4 things in every single case that has been proven. And what's the most astonishing part? Most astonishing part, guys. When I look at my data engineering course, when I look at my fabric course, when I look at the successful people are not even IT people. If I ask Aradhya, who is doing cloud computing, and I asked him, show me your top two recent successes whom you are very impressed by, and what are you impressed about? The answer was, and this shocked me happily, surprised me happily. I would not use the word shock. I jumped out of my seat when I was told, when I met that guy. I said, I don't believe you are there, or I don't believe you, Sanjay, or I don't believe you, Ashok. And they literally shared with me. They made me. I talked to that person, and I made that person give an experience sharing session, and I learned these guys were not even, they had left the industry sometime back, or they are brand new people, non-IT people. Why are non-IT people successful? Is because they pay attention to what is being taught in the class. These are the people who don't ask, sir, मेरे को कितना पैसा मिलेगा? What is the money that I'm going to get is last on their mind. They say, I will learn this new skill. I'll trust you guys, learn this new skill, do 1 or 2 projects, and keep active at LinkedIn, keep active at certain things. And every single person of them have 4 or 5 plus offers. When other people are making, let's say, 6 to 7 lakhs, or not even finding the jobs, nobody's even picking up their calls. The same people, they are non-IT people, and they're getting multiple offers.
Yeah. And
So
Disha, whom you gave as an example, she's here also. She is from BBA background, BBA plus
I
MBA. And
uh,
she's about
let's
to get a
uh,
promotion. I'll not say much beyond that, but
yeah, I didn't want to, because we have done a session on Disha, and we might upload the recording of that session. But I would want to take half a minute to shock all of you, most of you. Uh, Disha, if you are in front of your screen, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk a lot because we are running out of time. But I want you to uh, show your portfolio to the world, and tell the people that while you had not even completed your MBA, you had designed such a thing. And guys, while Sanjay or Disha is showing that on the screen, because it applies to anything, it applies to any technology that you're learning, you will be surprised to see her work. Now assume that all of you are recruiting managers or hiring managers or bosses. If this girl, if you did not know this girl at all, we didn't know her, right? None of you know her. Assume that. Now, if you look at something, a sample, if I say, Disha, tell me something about yourself, and she says, I'm blah blah blah, I've done this, that, and I'm a new student, and hey, would you like to see my portfolio? So she leads me into the conversation of her portfolio. You tell me, guys. I'm not going to tell you that I'm impressed with her or not, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to make you feel it. Sanjay, can you please do that if it's possible? Just
yes, Disha is there. Hello, Disha.
Yes,
Can
yes.
you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
Sanjay.
yeah.
Disha, please show the portfolio section on the screen. Just to give a, we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
If assume that you have met me for the first time, I have no clue who you are. I'm a
Mhm.
hiring manager, and I've said, Disha, tell me something about yourself, and you led the conversation to the portfolio, and you are just showing it. Can you please?
Yes, sure. So I am on my phone right now. I'm sharing my screen. Just see.
Sanjay, can you go to her profile and share the screen from her profile, please?
Yes, let me just give me.
Because on the phone, Disha, I know you're probably traveling, so Sanjay will show it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, in the meantime, any other questions? I'll just share the screen. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Guys, this was not a part of the plan. I didn't even know whether she'd be able to attend or not because she's busy with her family sort of things in office to work.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen.
Thank you,
Yes.
Sanjay. So Sanjay, assume that for a moment, just assume that
Yeah,
you
imagine
are
I'm a
this.
hiring manager.
Yeah. So can you, Sanjay, assume that you're Disha, okay? For
Okay, fine.
not a hiring, I'm the hiring manager. So Sanjay,
Okay.
can you talk a little bit about this wonderful lady? Because, or sorry, yourself, you're Disha, and you're talking to me about this profile. So what are you wanting to show me through your profile, Sanjay?
Okay, so I am so and so. So I have come. So this is about me. I am a second year MBA student at Manipal University, Jaipur, and I have worked on different tools and technologies, which includes Excel, Power BI, SQL, financial modeling, reporting, and visualization, different functional areas and technical skills. And coming to education, I have done BBA and then MBA and Manipal University, Jaipur. And then I worked as an intern in different roles. So I worked as a financial modeling intern, social media intern, and my latest internship is all about working with analytics at Havisham Consulting. So there I got an opportunity to work on different tools which are available. And this internship has introduced me to work real time on Power BI as well as on Excel as well as Power Query, VBA, etc. Mix of different technologies. I directly interacted with clients like Adani, Economic Times, etc. And coming to my portfolio, my sample work. So first, I would like to walk you through Excel. So here you have different projects, like 6 projects I have done. So it includes a portfolio dashboard where to keep track of different stocks on the equity market. Then there is also a dashboard which I built related to sales, and then something related to the budgeting, personal
Got
planning,
it,
and
got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. So guys, and we can go on and on. Now, if you had only 3 or 4 minutes to impress the interviewer, they and they are seeing this kind of a thing on your LinkedIn profile. They haven't even, I mean, you are not even in an interview. What would be your first impression, guys? Anyone? Anyone? Wouldn't I be interested to know more about this person, find more about this person? And in Disha's case, the day her profile was uploaded, she was offered a job.
and by the way, she's actually, like many people say, but where are jobs in India like that? She's actually working for UK, and I'll not reveal the details here. It's confidential. She is working
Yes.
for a startup which is based out of Europe, specifically UK, and she works completely remote. She doesn't have to go to office, and she is living in a tier 2 city, right? She is from Jaipur. So she is taking the salary which is equal to tier 1 city, but she's actually working remotely, and because of that, like whatever like the profile or whatever skill set she is having and everything. So the point is, you don't have to think that okay, I only have to do the regular jobs in India from Infosys, TCS, or
I
Deloitte or E&Y. So
yeah.
you can work across, and she has been working remotely successfully, and in fact she is on her way to uh, take a bigger role. I will not talk much about it until it becomes official, but that's about it. And
Yeah.
here I want to specifically talk one point. Like when I first asked people to show some SQL projects, people are like, okay, what is there to show as a SQL portfolio? Because people have this impression that, okay, only you can show some portfolio related to Power BI. You cannot build a portfolio out of SQL. So I told Disha, I mean, when Disha first learned Power BI, she was looking for opportunities, but there were limitations because she was not having SQL skills. Then I told her to build a portfolio out of SQL, right? So, like when I asked her to build it, she's like, okay, how do I build it? She has no idea. So what I told her was, do one thing. There is a 8-week case challenge from Danima. which is available online. You just go and do those cases, like 8 case studies are there, and then showcase them. So she has solved all the 8 case studies, and she has included all those codes like this in the form of screenshots, and she has given links as well. Like for example, if I click this
Uh,
link, it will go to her blogspot website, and then it will show even more details as well. So
Sanjay,
whether
Sanjay, hold on, hold on.
yeah,
Let them play with us. This much is enough for people to start. My job was to create a spark in people. I want to create another spark, Sanjay. Although I have decided to have another specialized session on this sometime in the future.
yeah, yeah,
But can you point people to your own portfolio, because
yeah,
you used to have a lot of such kind of stuff, but because of your focus from the last many years on engineering and architecture, you've decided to put more price on Azure, Fabric, and things. So can you, if you had only 3 or 4 minutes with a recruiter, let's say I'm just a senior person. I'm not even a
yeah.
recruiter. I'm just a somebody senior in the industry. Can you describe what have you done here on your LinkedIn?
Yes, definitely. So I am Sanjay Chandra with 8 years of experience in working on different data platforms, which includes Office 365, Power Platform, as well as Azure. Now, coming to my sample work, so this is my portfolio and this is my official website, sanjaychandra.com. So in the portfolio section, I have divided it into two parts. One is on BI, which is comes under reporting, and data engineering, which is more focused on pipelines, notebooks, PySpark, SQL, etc. So if I just go into data engineering, I have done total 8 projects. So these all projects which you see here are fictitious, like I have simulated all the names and everything using different Python libraries to create the data sets and all. So I have created different scenarios which are used very often in real time. And I have covered different topics as well. Like the first case study, if I have to show you an example, first couple of case studies, like I will show this as well as this. So here you can see that I worked on ADF, where there's a pipeline. It has different, I mean, the data comes from ADLS storage account, which has different containers. And there is a data ingestion logic, which I have given, where there
So
is a
I'm
water.
already so Sanjay, I'm already so impressed that, see, the point is not to understand each and everything, guys. The point is to understand, create a spark in yourself. Don't just do a course and wave a certification at me. Show me something that's of value so that you stand apart from the crowd. Sanjay, since we have been focusing on Fabric today, can you give one example? Maybe it might be one simple example of MS
Yeah,
Fabric, something where
yeah.
you involved MS Fabric.
Yeah, so this is the latest project which I have published related to Fabric. So this project is very interesting one. So it talks about GDPR. Now, a lot of times today, if you think about data, one of the most important topics which is talked about across the world, especially in European countries, is GDPR. So GDPR is something which European Union is very, very strict about. And GDPR compliance, there are a lot of things. I mean, only legal experts will know the nuances of it, but from data standpoint, no matter which role you are from, whether you are a data analyst or an architect, GDPR is must known topic, especially if you want to work for European clients or European companies. So this project is mainly focused on the European, targeting the European side, you can say. So first, I have created a data lake house, which is there. This I already walk you through. That it's the same thing here, which I have put it nicely in the form of a portfolio. So just give me, let me adjust the screen. So first there is a data tables which are created from the files which are there using the notebooks. And then there is a pipeline which I have given for incremental ingestion. So basically, as the data keeps coming, incremental load will happen based on the metadata and based on the loop. So inside the loop, I have given a book which will use the merge logic for the incremental refresh. So here I have used three things. First, I'm taking the metadata. Second, I'm building a pipeline which is scheduled. And third one is, because there is the notebook logic is, because the logic is written in the notebook, it will do an incremental refresh. Then the data ingestion will happen. Once the data ingestion happens with merge, there is also this erasing feature. Like as you know, in GDPR, one is to get the data properly and store it. Second part is, let's say if someone has the right, utilizes this clause called right to be forgotten, whatever traces of data which is there related to that user has to be removed. So in order to execute this, I have used a notebook which is there. So I'll just specifically just give you a just overview of that notebook which is there. So it is called this one, execute GDPR erasure. So in this notebook, what will happen is it will try to check for the user everywhere. So this is just an example. In the pipeline, you'll have a parameter to make it dynamic. So
Okay,
everywhere.
Sanjay, we are good. So guys, what was the point of having this discussion? The point of having this discussion is let's say I'm meeting Sanjay for the first time as a manager in the industry who's a friend, maybe who's a recruiting manager, maybe he's a director, maybe he's a VP, maybe whosoever. But I will be impressed, I'll be influenced, I'll be happy with this one person. Why? Because he did not come to me, ki, sir, oh, there are no jobs in the market. There are so many layoffs going on. As far as the layoffs are concerned, guys, it is very typical in the industry cycle that in November and December, maybe there are some layoffs earlier in the year, and there'll be some layoffs happening in November, December. You will keep on hearing news of one layoff or the other layoff, or somebody's trying to repurpose, somebody's trying to cut down their strength, and somebody's asking people to go to cloud computing or go to Fabric or go to Databricks. That news is never going to stop, and the media is going to keep multiplying that news. The more and more you see negative news, you'll keep on getting demotivated. But if you are somebody like Disha, if you are somebody like Sanjay, instead of getting demotivated, instead of getting dejected, you will attend the classes, you will learn something new, you practice that skill, and now you know the premium skill. So when you come out, when you finish the challenge in about 90 days, you will be as ready as Disha or Sanjay or similar Nilay. There are many people. So we will have presenters who will present portfolios to you so that you understand, and we will talk, everybody will talk about how they built it or what they did or what is their USP. And this approach is the practical approach with which you are going to really learn something. It will not happen by
And
waiving a
here,
certification.
and here one topic which I want to, maybe Arun will definitely agree with this, whatever I'm about to say. Initially, a lot of people told me in our COE that it is not possible to build a good portfolio with data engineering skills like Power BI.
Oh
Only
my
Power
lord.
BI, because the visualization tool, you can build a good portfolio with it. But data engineering portfolio, even if you build, it's not going to be that impressive, is what many people told me. But
Sanjay, before you say something, I have to add that we started a group called Portfolio Review. We told people how to build a portfolio, how to build this website. We did it in 5 different styles. We have old recordings of that. Then we told how to build portfolios with different technologies. And like Sanjay is describing, people kept on, those people who, instead of crying and moaning and groaning, started went back from the seminar, took an action within 24 hours to 48 hours. Those are the people who you see as success story in our experience sharing sessions.
and by
Sanjay,
the
please
way,
complete. Yeah.
by the way, all these sessions about portfolio which Arun was talking about were pro bono. They were open to everyone. Right?
Free. Pro
And
bono means
they
free.
were done multiple times. Pro bono means free. It was done multiple times, not once. So we had a dedicated group. We told people that build portfolio, doesn't matter which technology it is. Only few of them have done it. And
And
those
Sanjay,
few-
we have to remind people that we did not stop there. Some people said, now that I have built my portfolio, sir, uh, can I get some internships? So we created this group called Internship Group, where we had 20 to 30 different links where you can get your internship. Some of them were paid internships, some of them were unpaid internships. So, guys, anybody that's listening to this recording, or people that are attending, or you are watching the YouTubes later on, guys, you have to help yourself. We will bring the gulab jamun or laddu or the delicacies right up to your mouth, but you have to use your own teeth to eat it. That's the best we can do. You have the library, you have the portfolio group, you have the best courses, best teachers, best instructors. If you are not going to help yourself and you're just crying, moaning, or groaning, then you have to be content. Whatever you are getting is what you deserve. But people who are moving ahead with us in a fun manner, in a serious manner, both combined, those are the people who will have a great time in 2026. And I think, Sanjay, with that, uh, we have kind of run out of time. We will continue. This is not our last session, guys. We'll have multiple type of sessions coming up in the future. I urge every one of you to attend. Talk to your friends. I don't care if you are joining a course or not joining the course. What I care about is you are spending some time in learning something.
Correct.
thank
And
thank you, Sanjay, for being here, doing this for us. I know you're taking a lot of time, from your personal time and professional time to make these things pro bono seminars happen for us for free. So thank you a lot. Thank you, Disha. Thank you, Nilay, I don't know if Nilay is here or not. Thank you, Prachi. Thank you, many of our advisors who have given inputs in building this course. And again, guys, we are launching it on somewhere around 13th is what people say. In that time, we'll prepare the logistics, make sure it's ready for you, and we'll share all the stuff in our MS Fabric group. Sanjay, you wanted to say some closing words?
yes, definitely. So I want everyone to be active on the Fabric group. So I mean, like Arun said, there'll be more sessions. Like that boot camp is only one topic. So this Fabric group is beyond that one as well. This is just one topic which we discussed, but there'll be a lot of guest speakers who will be coming and talking. There'll be a lot of people who will be sharing the industry insights. There'll be a lot of interesting discussions which will happen. I want every one of your active participation in the group if you are serious about Fabric, because learning just doesn't come from one particular source, it will come from multiple sources. So I want you to keep the Fabric group active and also contribute. Like if you find any interesting article on Fabric, definitely go ahead and share, and you can summarize those articles as well. So I am looking forward to hear more
Sanjay,
insights.
Sanjay, some people ask me, they say, "Hey, I'm only a beginner. How can I contribute?" My answer is, guys, ask. If you're a beginner, ask the question. If you're experienced, help other people. And if you are too lazy to do anything, at least share good articles by our leads. So share good articles by Sanjay, Nilay, Prachi, other people, Ashok, Vishal, Muskan. These are our leads, right? So guys, whenever they write something for your there's also Sparul Singla. Whenever they write something, at least the least you can do is share it on your LinkedIn so that we'll get more and more of good people. You'll be surprised to know that in the COE there are many people who are directors, who are vice presidents, who are I mean, some of them keep silent, but we have recruiting people. I'll give you an example. We have somebody who has spent many years in Amazon and many years. So we have people who are observing the the audience silently, and they reach out to Sanjay, they reach out to me, they reach out to other leaders in our group, and they say, "Hey, I have seen this particular guy. I would like to see a resume quietly. And do you think this person is a good person for this particular role?" So we have a lot of those internal conversations with which we are able to uh, help people get placement wherever it's possible. But guys, it's not going to happen if you're going to keep quiet. You are not active on LinkedIn, or you are not even active on the groups. You are just there to sit and play with your thumb. I'm sorry to say this in honest words, guys, but 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 the only way is to you know ask us questions and learn. With that, thank you everyone for attending, and I really again thank you that in spite of us running out of, in spite of our extending the time by a little bit, I hope I hope the message that we gave was important to you. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you, Prem, for scheduling all of this for us. You are our national backbone.
Thank you very much, Arun and Sanjay, and Disha
Yeah,
too.
and guys, those of you who attended, give the feedback in the MS Fabric group. If you find anything of value, give the feedback in the group. So with your feedback, if you say you learned something, honestly, touch your heart and say you learned something. One thing, even if one takeaway was there, if you learned it honestly, you share it within the group, that will motivate other lazy people to take their first step, or other shy people to come forward and say something. It's not about the course, it's about your learning. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Arun.